बर्थडे में सी रजिस्टर एजुकेशनल मूवीज जो है नहीं, छोटे बच्चों का अलग, अप टू 8 अलग, 9 to 12 एक जगह बैठ जाएंगे, अप टू 8 एक जगह, उनको कार्टून पे लगा देंगे तो भी तीन हमारे पास हो जाएंगे। इस वाले में वॉशरूम थोड़ा सही ये सीपीयू सब सेट करने हैं अब्दुल्ला, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ अब्दुल्ला है आजकल कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। शिवकुमार सर एक फ़ोटो ले लीजिए और वो टेलीग्राम कर दीजिए, क्योंकि उससे फ़ोटो को तो नहीं पता चलेगा ना हम क्या कर रहे हैं। सब लोग वहाँ पे रहेंगे। एक सामने पर तार वार ना दिखे, एक इधर से ले लीजिए, एक सामने से ले लीजिए, ताकि मैं कोचिंग में भेज दूंगा, मैं NEP अटेंड कर रहा हूँ, आज क्लास नहीं चल रही। नहीं बता दिया मैं तो 15 हम हमेशा पहले से माइंड धीरे धीरे प्रिपेयर करना शुरू कर देते, ताकि बच्चे फिर एक्स्ट्रा क्लास ले लेते हैं उठा के। मेरे को बेटे पूरा 10-15 दिन ऐसे ही चलेगा। इस साइड से यहाँ से यार इधर से व्यू अच्छा है। नहीं APGR पे वो YouTube पे लिंक करके फिर उसके बाद नहीं ऐसे में लाइव बनाएंगे।
To this session, the second phase of the webinar series of NEP 2020. As you are all aware of the CBSE circular dated 8 January, these webinars are meant for teachers who are the ground workers in our education system and must not only understand and absorb but also implement the recommendations of the NEP document for achieving the desired learning outcomes of our students. Now, today's webinar is being conducted for teachers of COE Allahabad, Prayagraj, as known now. I welcome you all. You teachers can join through the live streaming link, which must already have been shared to you. You will also get a link for MCQs on NEP in the description box, and you will, if you participate in that test, you will be getting a participation certificate. The link of that MCQ will remain open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. today. Our expert on today's webinar is Madam Pooja Sehgal, who is a seasoned educationist and counselor. She is working as a principal in Kanpur Public School at Kanpur. She holds a master's degree in English literature and she is a certified trainer for CBSE. She has taken more than 40 workshops of students and teachers on generic and subject-specific topics. Madam Pooja, I welcome you to this session and I request you to carry forward. Thank
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a warm welcome and a sweet introduction. And I feel fortunate to be able to take this session because new education policy has really wonderful changes which are naturally going to bring about a sweeping change in our educational system. So being a part of it is naturally very overwhelming, and I feel honored. So thank you and congratulations to the COE also for having organized such webinars time and again, so that the entire CBSE fraternity, the teachers, the principals, all the stakeholders, they are able to understand it better and move on with all these changes for a better education inside. So basically, first of all, we need to understand the vision of this policy. The vision basically is to develop a system which not only provides quality education to the students so as to enable them to be able to compete in the global world, but its curriculum and pedagogy should develop a sense of pride and respect for the country, its constitution, towards fundamental rights. I guess this is one of the most beautiful, most admirable change which has been brought in the education policy. I mean, of course, previously also we used to learn about the beautiful aspects of our country. We were taught about being patriotic, but now I think it has been taken to a totally different level. And well, the students of today must grow into truly global citizens who feel their responsibility towards human rights, sustainable development, and global well being. So, a deep bond with the country must also be developed in the school. So, naturally, it becomes all the more responsibility of the school, of the principals, and the teachers to ensure that all these values, all these qualities are embedded among the students. So, the purpose is to make India a global knowledge superpower. Let us not forget, India has always been, known for its rich educational system. When there were no universities in any part of the world, we had universities like Takshila, Nalanda, and Vikramshila. We have already given so much to the world. But it's time now to recognize it ourselves, because often we ourselves, I find, due to so much of modernization, due to so much of influence of the Western world, somewhere deep down we are probably losing ground. We are forgetting our roots. So the new education policy is a very fresh and welcoming change, and it's bringing back all those things which should have always been a part of the education policy. The aim of the new education policy is to increase the gross enrollment ratio in the higher education system. It also aims to reorient the education system towards meeting the needs of the 21st century. And that is why we are focused to achieve the twin objectives of inclusion and excellence. So we are working on these tracks. Also, universalization of education from preschool to secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio by 2030 is one of the aims of the new education policy. So, all in all, I would like to repeat what I heard our Union HRD Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, state, that our new education policy is basically based on the pillars of affordability, accessibility, quality, equity, accountability, along with a new dimension, and that is flexibility. And that we will see in the presentations which I have. Before we move on, because this session basically is for the teachers, so I will focus more of my presentation on the teachers, but I guess we need to have a brief understanding of the NEP. So I would just very briefly discuss the highlights of the new education policy. So first of all, it is ensuring universal access at all levels of school education, early childhood care and education, with new curricular and pedagogical structure. Then we target at attaining a foundational literacy and numeracy, reforms in school curriculum and pedagogy, also multilingualism and the power of language. This is important because we know we have the schools in rural, semi-urban areas, interiors, and we all know about our country that after every 10 kilometers or so the local dialects changes. So it's very important for a teacher to understand the language of that area so that the communication is stronger, and the teachers will be able to do justice with the content only when they are able to convey whatever they want to convey the curriculum to the students. So language is very important. So that also has got a place in the new education policy. There are a lot of assessment reforms, and naturally our assessment system is going to undergo a lot of changes. Students will not only be assessed only on the basis of marks which were previously, I should say, based mostly on the pen and paper. That is their unit test or the half yearly examinations or the final examinations, where rote learning took the front seat. But now with art integration, sports integration, and so many new ways, activity based learning, so naturally the assessment system will also change. So a new assessment reform has also been proposed. Also, there will be equitable and inclusive education so that it is, reaching out in a fair and impartial manner, and which is open to everyone. Robust teacher recruitment and career paths. So even teachers have been taken care of through the new education policy, right from their training before they become a teacher to the time when they are being teachers, but how they can further, polish and improve themselves. So NEP has taken care of it all. So strong governance, a standard setting and accreditation system for school education, then increase in cross enrollment ratio, holistic multidisciplinary education. This again is a very soothing and welcoming change where the students will have a choice of what they want to study rather than having simply the stream art, science, commerce. Now the children will have an access to whatever subject they would want to study. They will have the liberty to choose a subject of their choice. Then there would be motivated, energized, and capable faculty. This will be obviously possible because of focus of CBSE, especially on the teachers training. 50 hours of teachers training has been made compulsory, and naturally it is going to reflect in the teaching during the classrooms. So teacher education takes a front seat here. Mentoring mission, open and distance learning, so that education reaches to every nook and corner of the country. Online education and digital education, the world is progressing and so are we. So our students, our teachers, they need to be digitally educated. They need to be very comfortable with the new online education and technology in education. So all these things are going to help us grow in every way possible. Professional education, adult education, all these things have taken an important, I mean, part in the new education policy. They have been given a special place in the new education policy. All this is done with the purpose so that we are focusing on the motor development of a child along with the cognitive development. The focus of education is not just on one track but towards the holistic development of a child. So further as I would like to quote a quote which I like very much by Benjamin, I think it's Disraeli. He said, "The secret of success is to be ready when your opportunity comes. There is no point waiting for opportunity and then you try to, prepare yourself. The opportunity may be lost. So be prepared before the opportunity knocks at your door." It means that. So, with this thought, I shall say, I would suggest to all the teachers that bring out your best beforehand so that you get the best opportunity possible. So, NEP 2020 is going to focus a lot on the teachers' education and teachers' training as well. The new education policy actually proposes to completely overhaul the teaching profession to create a robust and merit-based structure of tenure, salary and promotion that recognizes outstanding teachers. Before we proceed, let us make a small comparison. The Kothari Commission 1966 is stated, "Of all the different factors which influence the quality of education and its contribution to national development, the quality, competence, and character of teachers are undoubtedly the most significant." I agree to that. But I am very happy to state that now in the new education policy, so much of focus is given to something which was mentioned then, but probably was overlooked, and we faced a lot of problems in the past few years. So now everything has been polished and it's presented in a way that we get to sharpen our skills so as to give our best. So recognizing the power of the teachers, NEP 2020 has put in place a systematic reforms that would help teaching emerge as an attractive profession, and that it would eventually attract the best minds and talents to choose teaching as their profession. So teaching as a profession, I think it should be choice, not just by chance. And because it is by choice, that is why I say prepare yourself beforehand. So, NEP proposes several reforms to empower teachers and restore their high respect and status. So, before we proceed, there is one more thing. A national curriculum framework for teachers' education will be drafted, which will be there to guide all teachers' education, whether it is pre-service and in-service, of teachers, whether they are working in academic or vocational or special education streams. So all these things are taken care of very well in the new education policy. So I would just begin my presentation so as to understand the new education policy better, and also to see what things it proposes for the teachers. So kindly give me a moment to start my presentation. Okay, so here we come to the new education policy. I just hope it is visible to all. Can somebody just respond if it is visible? Hello? Hello? It is visible now, right? Okay, so I proceed with the overview of the policy. So the vision of the new education policy is basically to deliver an education system which is deeply rooted, as I said previously also, in Indian ethos. Basically, it is about that
कैसे प्रेजेंट
women
करें इनके
should
मोबाइल पे
be
यूज करना
able to
पड़ेगा
respect their motherland, should understand our history.
नहीं तो वो वहीं से पता है वो मोबाइल को यूं कर रही है ना वो यूं कर देंगी लैंडस्केप में तो वो बड़ा हो जाएगा नहीं तो चैट डिसेबल्ड है ना ये देखिए चैट डिसेबल्ड है
Should understand the kind of diversity we have, and should be colored in the true spirit of patriotism and nationalism. So that is one important vision of this policy.
देखिए मोबाइल से स्क्रीन शेयर कर वही लैंडस्केप में कर रहे हैं चैट डिसेबल का लगाना कैसे होगा
Yeah, please give me a moment. I think there is some technological glitch over there.
हेलो 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 गुड आफ्टरनून यस सर एक मिनट में भेज रहा हूँ ओके ओके सर ठीक 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 मैं अभी सेंड कर रहा हूँ
Yeah, just give me a moment. Actually, something has happened with the screen sharing, so I'll just share it once again and come back to that. Okay. So here we come back to our screen and we notice the key principles of the NEP 2020. So as we focus on this, we notice that the new education policy, it has the key principles as the respect for diversity and local context, which means that we need to understand about the diversity of the country, about everything which we have around us, around our surroundings in the country, learn to respect all kind of local context of the country. Equity and inclusion, the policy proposes that fair and inclusive education for all, which should be easily available to every stakeholder. Then community participation. Now here we need to encourage our students to be able to participate in the community services so that they are able to be a part of everything that is happening in the society and community, and they learn to participate in a positive way to our society. I just given a small example here. In my school, what I have done, a group of students, we have adopted a slum area nearby. So, a weekly basis, the students, they visit there and they organize some classes for those who cannot afford to go to regular school. And not only that, the students in different groups, they also sensitize the local people there about the cleanliness, about the importance of the greenery, and in this way the students are doing their bit for the society. Use of technology. This again is very important because now the world is moving towards digitalization, and we have to be marching the steps with everything which is coming new. Emphasize conceptual understanding. Yes, from the rote learning, we have to move towards the conceptual learning. Children should be able to understand the concepts well, and not only when it is, it should be also through their own comprehensive way as well. Not only when it is taught in the class and they are mugging it up, but also how they can study it on their own and understand the concepts better. So we have to make them independent in this respect. Then we have to recognize the unique capability of the students and identify them and motivate students to work more on their unique capabilities so that they can achieve their goals and targets in life. Also, the students should be able to think critically and creatively so that they are able to make decisions based on logic and not depending on the decisions of the other. They should be able to draw a conclusion from any kind of discussion, and a positive one at that. Then there has to be continuous review based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. So reviewing the progress of a child is equally important, but now that review would be based on more scientific researches. Now, here in brief for all the teachers, our pedagogical structure. So now the new education policy proposes that now we have got the four pillars on which our educational structure is standing, is based. So it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, where the 3 years in Anganwadi or preschool and 12 years in school. So, but that is the foundational stage for up to, I must say, from PG to class 2, where we have to focus more on the play way activity based learning. Thereupon, from class 3 to 5, the students are taught a little in such a manner that their classrooms are more interactive. A bit of science is introduced there so that the children are able to discover new things and they are more involved in their studies, but at the same time they enjoy their chapters and understand the basic concepts and basic numerology and basic structure of language they should be able to understand at this level. Then middle stage is classes 6 to 8, where experiential learning is in the sciences, mathematics, arts, social science and humanities. Now here we can also say that art integrated and sports integrated learnings are introduced in almost all the subjects so that the students are able to do researches on their own, they are able to understand the concepts and they are very thorough with the concepts. Secondary stage is class 9 to 12, where now the greater critical thinking and multidisciplinary study, flexibility and student choice of subjects is an essential ingredient at this stage, and this is going to give a lot of freedom to the student to study a subject on their own. Now, as we see, what is the purpose of all these changes? It's simply a shift to competency-based teaching, learning and assessment. So, from rote learning, we are going to move on towards critical and creative thinking, and naturally the curriculum would be reduced to the core essential so that the students are able to understand the concepts better rather than mugging up the entire thing. And I would repeat that this is something where the role of the teachers is very essential, because this is where you have to guide the students in such a manner that they are able to achieve this target set by NEP, so that they are moved from rote learning to the critical thinking and understanding is increased. So that is why teachers training has been made essential, because you need to train yourself, sharpen your skill, so that you can also compete with the changing times. So we have to shift from traditional assessments to competency focused assessments. So the kind of tests that we have to give to the students, they are not as we used to have 2 or 3 or 5 years back. They should be more rational. Then we have to also track a student's progress. One thing I would state here, probably it's not written here in words, but it means the same. When we talk of assessment, when we talk of competition, I would like to say the kind of competition and the tracking of the progress of a student should be based on competition with oneself. We should teach a student, we should learn to acknowledge the progress of the student from his or her own previous record. For an example, if a child is scoring, let us say 25 marks out of 100 in one of the tests and scores 40 in the other, let's not criticize a child by telling you are not improving, why are you not getting 75 or 80. Rather, we must pat the back of the child and say, yes, you have moved further ahead, a step ahead. From 25, you have moved on to 40. This is progress. So move on. So, coaxing a child to do better, motivating a child, appreciating a child is very important. So keep tracking the progress, but keep checking that the child is growing in every possible way through activities, through projects, through integration of the various subjects, not just by learning and mugging up of the concepts. And for this, the teachers need to design tools and resources to acquire the learning outcomes. So what chapter you have to teach, how you have to teach, how much time you have to devote, what tools you need for it. So all this has to be planned before you enter the classroom. So the role of the teacher is very, very essential, and this is in the minds of the policymakers, and that is why NEP has given a lot of weight to the teachers' educations and trainings. So, this I think we have already discussed, so we'll just skip these slides and move on to the teachers' basically roles. So, here these are the things which have to be encouraged in the 21st century skills in the classroom. This is for the teachers to ensure that we are focusing on the scientific temper of the students, collaboration among the students, with the teachers, with the subjects. Digital literacy is made possible in the classroom itself. Problem solving areas are taken care of. Students are trained in such a way that they are able to solve the problems, be it whichever subject. Communication should be very strong, and it should take the front seat, because that is something which will lead to the progress of the child. Critical thinking should be focused upon, creativity, health and fitness, social responsibility, and ethics. So these are the 21st century skills which need to be focused upon in the classroom. So it is only possible when the teachers are future ready. And then there are also introductions of a few contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, holistic health, data science, organic living, design thinking, machine learning. So when we are going to implement or introduce these subjects in the school, so teachers have to be ready beforehand. And that is why, as I'll show in the few further slides, that even the teachers' education, the teachers' eligibility tests, and the courses like B.Ed, they have also been reformed to such a way that they are giving, full training to the teachers with how to deal with the students in the class. So a lot of reforms have been made there also. So here are the year-long courses during the classes 6 to 8. These are basically about what we have to do in the school, how and on what things we have to focus in the classroom. So there will be emphasis on the vocational education. So this, as the school heads have already been trained and have already been taught, but obviously teachers are going to be instrumental in implementing this vocational education in the classrooms, in the schools. So it is very important for the teachers to understand their role here. Now, the NEP proposes 10 days in a year of backless, teaching. So what are the students going to do there? So there, the local vocational experts such as carpenters, potters, artists, painters, even gardeners, anybody who can give a kind of vocational training to the students would be called, would be invited in the schools, and student will have a choice to learn a life skills from them. So kind of internship opportunities will be provided to the students throughout classes 6 to 12. Now this depends upon school. If they want, they can also have it through an online mode, and otherwise they can invite in the school itself, in the premises, and 50% of the learners shall have exposure to vocational education by the year 2025. This is what is the proposal by NEP. Another thing which I already said when I started off with my presentation, focus of NEP is on making the children knowledgeable, first of all, about their own country, about their own city, about their own surroundings, about their own language, culture, heritage, so much of diversity which is present in our country. Students should be able to respect these diversity, respect the rich culture and the heritage of their own country, so that before they learn about the world, they know about their country. They know about how rich has been our country in the field of education, not from today, but from the very beginning. So these are the focuses of the NEP. Health education, yes, a fit mind dwells in a fit body. So students, and I must say as well as teachers, they have to focus more on their health. So health education is also given an important place in the new education policy. So it's not only teaching the students about a nutritious and balanced diet, it's not only about telling them what is healthy diet and what are the negative impacts of fast foods or a crash diet, but students have to be taught about the mental health and well-being, about the importance of meditation and yoga, importance of exercise, walking. So all these are therapies which help a sound mind in a sound body. So personal health, personal hygiene, the first aid, uh, training to the students. All these things are part and parcel of the health education policy which has been introduced in the curriculum to be taught to the students. Also, today's youth is so much, we feel at times, are towards the negative, in the clutches of, let us say, drinking, that is alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So, to refrain them from that, we need to train them right from the beginning about the ill effects, damaging effects of these things. Now, about the language, as I said previously, it's very important for the teachers also to be multilingual. See, there are areas where we have English medium schools,
मतलब जो
but
लोकल
the
लैंग्वेज है आपको
students are
इंग्लिश है
coming from
तो
families
हमें वो भी यूज़ करना
where
पड़ेगा।
English probably is not the language which they are very comfortable with. Back home, they are speaking their local languages, the regional
नहीं जो
languages,
लोकल
whatever.
लैंग्वेज है
So
रीजनल
teachers
लैंग्वेज
should be able to understand this problem and should be able to make the concepts clear in the mother tongue of the child so that it is easier for child to understand the concept, and especially till grade 5 and preferably till grade 8. So languages of India, we have diversity in the field of language. We have so many states from north to south, east to west, and there are so many languages, and then in every state there are local dialects. So the teachers of that area should be familiar with those languages, with those dialects, so that the medium of instructions should be such that the students are able to understand, and for this the teacher should time to time give projects on the language diversity to keep the students involved in the fun activities about understanding the local languages. And also, since one of the focus of NEP is also to curtail the dropout rates, and while we have studied the number of reasons why the students drop out from the school, there are many reasons, financial reasons for one, but language is also one important reason. If the students are unable to understand what are taught in the class, so how are they going to focus on their studies? So many times this become a reasons for the students to drop out of the school, and so to avoid that situation, it's very essential that the teachers are able to teach in the mother tongue of the area of the students which they are able to understand easily. A lot of work is done on reforming our textbook also, and NCRT is taking steps and new things we are hoping to see in the near future. So new curriculum and different languages. Now NCRT is proposing a set of textbooks in different local languages also, with desired nuances and supplementary material which as per the needs of the local areas, and also the teachers will give a variety to choose from. And as I said, since a lot of changes are being proposed in the area of teaching, so naturally there would be changes which are proposed in the areas of assessment
ये
also.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है
So our focus is going to be on the tests which which are more analytical in nature and which promote critical thinking and conceptual clarity. So this will help in the development of a student's mind and better understanding of the concepts and the skills of the students to formative and which would help him in grow in a holistic manner. So here we notice this beautiful picture is given here. So assessment would be as per the new education policy, students would be assessed in grade 3, then 5, then 8, 10 and 12. I think most of the teachers are already aware of this tracking which we are going to use in the coming future. So abhi we were assessing students in grade 10 and 12. So now grade 3, 5 and 8 will also be assessed by the board. So we would be testing on core concepts and move from the rote memorization which I have been repeating again and again. So this would be a focus not only in government school but also in the private schools as well. And likewise the report cards also will undergo a lot of transformation, because now the report cards would be such would be which would be able to assess the holistic development of each child. So there would be a special mention of the progress of a child in the project-based and inquiry-based learning, the participation of a child in various activities like quizzes, role plays and group work, etc., and self-assessment and peer assessment, then progress in cognitive, how much the concepts are clear to the child. All these things will be given space in the report card. Then also, interactive questionnaires for parents, teachers, and students would be there in the assessment, sheets, so that the parents can also be a part of a child's learning. So there would be these changing. So regarding the guidelines for assessment, these are prepared again by NCRT in consultation with the major stakeholders, and hopefully we would be seeing it very soon, probably by 22 and 23 academic session. And here we have the National Assessment Center for School Education, which is going to propose these following things for the school boards. All the school boards actually, there would be collaboration regarding new assessment patterns and latest researches. And it's basically to make education at par in our country. Then, yes, this is something which I was longing to discuss with you. It's about teachers and teachers' education. See, as I said before, a lot of focus is on the teachers' education. So, NEP aims to support and nurture teachers through all phases of their tenure. This I said beforehand. So, right from the years when they are preparing themselves. So, one such step is about B.Ed. So, first of all, there would be 4 years integrated B.Ed. So, this will help the students to decide from the very early stages if they want to be teachers, they can do their B.Ed, which would be integrated with their graduation time itself. Then there is also 2 years of B.Ed for those who have already done their bachelor's degree in other specialized subjects. Then there is a 1 year B.Ed program for those who have done their master's degree in any specialty, any subjects. Then, yes, here. So, preparation. So, at the time of preparation, so we would say teachers' eligibility tests will be developed since the school structure is divided. So, we have already studied that since the school structure is divided into foundational, preparatory, middle, and secondary structures. So, naturally, it would require teachers who are so well prepared and focused on these structures where they are going to teach. So it would be a must for teachers in private as well as government schools to qualify TET. And interview would be mandatory for all the teachers so as to assess their knowledge of the local language. So there would be more focus on not only passing of the teachers' eligibility test, but how confident they are in the interviews and how well equipped they are with the local languages. The teachers would also be required to teach in multiple languages and have knowledge of new age courses like computational thinking, coding, etc. Because these are some of the new areas we will be focusing in the near future. So naturally, teachers must prepare themselves. As I said, prepare yourself before the opportunity comes. So this is the time. So teachers must learn everything they could to make themselves well equipped with the times to come. And B.Ed courses will also be changed accordingly. Now B.Ed courses will have topics like how the teachers are going to deal with not only the conceptual or academic problems of a child, but also the psychological, at the same time technological support system would be expected from the teachers. And apart from that, how to deal with the specially abled children. So these are all going to be a part and parcel of the teachers training. And also continuous professional development of the teachers is proposed. So 50 hours of mandatory training for the teachers is proposed in the NEP. Then recruitment, at the time of recruitment, now online vacancies would be flashed and teachers know where they have to apply, and lot of care would be taken in the deployment of the teachers, and transfers also would not be that frequent, so that the teachers they get some stability. So transfers would be only in the very special circumstances. And in the classroom teachers are able to give their best. So for that, from time to time trainings would be provided to them, assistance would be provided to them through our COEs, which are already geared up. And since the last 2 years, I think, especially during the time of pandemic, I must say, and I must compliment CBSE and COE especially for giving us so much time devoted to training during the pandemic. And our teachers are well equipped to deal with the problems of the children with trainings like time management, life skills, gender sensitivity, moral values, ethics, apart from the subject oriented training. So teachers are basically geared in every possible manner. They are helped to gear themselves properly, so that they are able to deal with the classroom emergencies while they are teaching, and while they are dealing with the students of all sorts and from all background. And naturally this will help them in their professional development. So now there would be lot of opportunities for the teachers to grow, promotion opportunities would be there, appraisal system would be there. So lot of focus is there in the, about the support and nurturing of the teachers through all phases of their tenure as a teacher. So here just a quick review of what all we discussed right now. So the professional standards will be reviewed and revised in 2030, and thereafter every 10 years on the basis of rigorous analysis of the efficacy of the system. So how well the system is introduced and what result the system is giving. So based on that, there would be continuous analysis of the system, and naturally the professional standards will be revised and reviewed. So I've already discussed about the quality 4-year integrated B.Ed program and transparency in transfers through online computerized systems. This is to maintain stability among teachers. The TETs will be strengthened, sharing of teachers across the school. So I guess already we have started with that. Especially CBSE has taken a lot of initiative, and we have hubs of learning where 4 or 5 schools together they are clustered should to share their teachings and the best practices which they are following. The purpose is the same, to share the best so that we all grow together. Schools and school complexes will hire local eminent persons and experts and master instructors. This is again to strengthen the teachers in every possible manner. A technology-based comprehensive teacher requirement planning. Teacher education will gradually be moved by 2030 into multidisciplinary colleges and university. So this is good for those who are aspiring to be teachers, because now they can, as soon as they finish their class 12, they can start preparing themselves to be a good teacher in future. And for that, online digital learning mode of teaching is also available. So I think this is all what the new education policy proposes to be a good teacher. And this is how CBSE has also taken a lot of initiative to train their own teachers. So CBSE has set a standard for accreditation for school education, and being a part of CBSE schools, we all know that. So we all have a certain standard which is set, and every year it is reviewed when we are sending our data to the CBSE, and based on that we are given advices from time to time to grow better. And a lot of transformation in the assessment and examination system has already been started, and it is already there, and proposals are also there. So we are already sailing through this. Coming again to the initiatives for capacity building of teachers. So here we all know teacher training programs have always been an integral part of CBSE, and because we keep needing teachers, we need to recruit them, and for that their induction programs are always ongoing. It is already in process, I must say. So online, in service teacher training program is also there, and this is one of the examples. So conducting this webinar is also for the teachers who are already in service. So initially it was 35 hours, now it is 50 hours of mandatory teachers training. And yes, mock classroom demonstrations are there, so that the teachers are able to learn better, understand better how they have to conduct their classes based on integration, whether with art or with the sports, and activity based learning, where rote learning is not existing anymore, but conceptual learning is focused more. Experiential learning, that is one term which we have been hearing so often in the past 2 years, and but we have to understand it so very well, just to capture and keep the students involved in the class, so as to make students more focused in the class. It has become the responsibility of the teachers to ensure that they enjoy their lessons in the class. So how are they going to enjoy the lessons if it is plain and simple reading and translating it into a certain chapters? We need to involve students in every way possible. So for that, again, we are having a lot of sessions for experiential learning and art integration in various subjects. But here to sum it up, I would say it is very important for all the teachers to plan their lessons before they enter the classrooms, so that they are able to do justice to that particular portion. And not only that, teachers should every day assess themselves about the learning outcome in the class. When I enter my classroom, I have a goal that this is what I am going to teach the students today. This is the topic which I am going to introduce in the class today. But by the end of the class, am I able to assess how much they are able to learn, and what they have learned, and how they have learned? So, to focus more on the learning outcome is very essential on an everyday basis. Even the teacher's planner, they have a column of learning outcomes every day. Whatever portions you are teaching, you must be able to assess what is the learning outcome of your class, because this will guide you and help you more whether the students are learning or not. And not only that, in a class of, let us say, 40 students, you have students from all backgrounds. You have students with with different learning capacities and capabilities. You have students who have different tendencies, who have different ways how they learn. So a teacher should be able to do justice to all. You don't have to teach only those who are sitting in the front. You don't have to ask questions from only those who are raising their hands. It's the responsibility of the teacher to see that each and every child is involved in learning process. So it is only possible when you are able to introduce the concept of experiential learning. And for that you need to understand the concept well. So again, you need to focus more on what you are teaching and how you are teaching. Again, I would say, I would repeat, teachers training is very important. We are offering you that, but you must take initiative,
Rotation.
be a part, don't miss any opportunity of learning so that you are able to do justice with your students. To sum it all up once again, I would say that whatever policies are framed and formulated, but the essential thing is it is the teachers who are going to implement it in the class. It is the teachers who are going to do justice to everything which the policy makers are planning to bring out for the better futures of the student. So keep learning because again I think learning and teaching are the mirror images. So with that, I end my presentation and I hope I was able to do justice to whatever content was there. So I know new education policy is not something which we can discuss in an hour. It's very vast and it's very detailed. But I guess from the point of the view of the teachers, we will able to understand the key principles, the pillars, the aims and objectives of the policy in the brief and role of the teachers in detail, along with how the teachers they can prepare themselves well as per the new education policy. And let's not forget that teachers are given special place, I mean, so that the teachers may also grow basically and be able to do justice not only to their students but also to themselves. So we need more of dedicated teachers, well-versed teachers, who are so interested in giving the best to the students. So for that, we need to keep learning and keep growing. So thank you all very much. And now if there are any questions, I would welcome them.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. It was wonderful having such clear, insight into the various aspects of this NEP. And I know it is a comprehensive document and cannot be presented in an hour, as you said. Uh, but we got to know so many things related to school education, especially teachers. So, only there are some doubts which all teachers must be having, and on their behalf, I am asking when this NEP is going to be implemented is the first question that comes to mind. Is there any, starting point from where it will start, and what is?
I,
Yeah.
ma'am, I would say it's already started. See, the way we are in the process of training our teachers, the way we have already entered into the experiential learning, art integration, all these are a part, a fundamental part of the NEP. So I guess we are already there, and a few changes which need to be implemented. I think as soon as the students are back to the school after this COVID problem is over, in the new sessions,
गूगल फॉर्म
I
मैंने
think we
भेज
will
दिया
be
है,
focusing more on the changes in our assessment
उसको ओपन
system,
करके अपनी
the
डिटेल्स फिलअप
changes
कर
in our
दीजिए.
report cards. So I think NEP is already there. It's already existing. For me, it is. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Wonderful. The most difficult part would, in my opinion, would be the ECCE part, from where
Yes.
children
Early
2 years
childhood,
of
yes,
age,
yes,
they
yes.
are inducted into the school system through Anganwadis, Balvatikas. Because in private schools it already exists, but it doesn't
Yes.
exist in government
71095.
system. To upgrade the skills of the workers there and to make them ready for these
एक मिनट
small
मैं देखूं क्या है
tender children is
डेजिग्नेशन
Ma'am,
going
ऑफ
to be the
this
most
पार्टिसिपेंट्स
is
difficult
one
part.
reason why
हाँ सर
teachers training has been made
क्या
an
रहेगा पीजीटी
important
टीजीटी
part of NEP. As I
अरे
said,
जो
whether it
पीजीटी
is
लेवल पढ़ा रहा हो
government school
टीजीटी
or a
डाल दो जो कर
private
रहा हो
school,
पीजीटी डाल दो
even Anganwadis are involved. So, all the teachers who would be, made a part or who would be appointed as teachers
एजुकेटर ग्रुप
into
में एक
those
लिंक है ये वाला
Anganwadis or in the
ये देखिए गूगल
preparatory
फॉर्म
schools, foundational schools, they will be trained well,
एफिलिएशन नंबर
and they
है
have to be, as I said, interviews, and their focus
ये
on
देखो ये
language
इसका
would also be assessed. So training is already on way.
Yes, ma'am. One more thing that intrigues me is like the
एक
teaching
मिनट
of
एक
children in their local language up to class 5,
Yes.
mandatorily rather. And it would be better if it is done till class 8. So the
Yes,
most
it would be
difficult part
better.
would be the books. We don't have books in regional and local languages to teach them.
Ma'am,
So
already NCRT is working upon that, and very